Jehovah's Witnesses and blood transfusions. Hi, I'm Dr. James Holt, and probably the most controversial of doctrines from the Jehovah's Witnesses is the prohibition on blood transfusions. Although the penalties for contravening it have been relaxed, for example in 2000, leaders revoked the ruling that their members faced automatic excommunication if they accepted a blood transfusion, it is still a core tenet of their faith. Witnesses may suggest bloodless surgery as a possible alternative, though medically this isn't always possible and is seen to be less effective in many cases. The doctrine, as all witness beliefs do, comes from the Bible. In discussing Old Testament prohibitions on the eating and the use of blood, witnesses see that the blood has symbolic meaning. They say, the law repeatedly stated the Creator's ban on taking in blood to sustain life. You must not eat the blood, pour it out on the ground like water. Do not eat it so that it may go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is right. That's taken from Deuteronomy. And it has parallels in Leviticus and Ezekiel as well. Contrary to how some today reason, and this is continuing with witnesses, God's law on blood was not to be ignored just because an emergency arose. During a wartime crisis, some Israelite soldiers killed animals and fell to eating along with the blood. In view of the emergency, was it permissible for them to sustain their lives with blood? No, their commander pointed out that their course was still a grave wrong. Hence, precious as life is, our life-giver never said that his standards could be ignored in an emergency. It's probably the least understood and empathised with of witness doctrines. And rather than being written off as unsympathetic in their adherence to this commandment, it raises a discussion as to whose wisdom should be followed. Are people's ideas and feelings more important than a commandment of God? Where witnesses might be applauded for not going against their faith in the face of death in Germany during the Holocaust, they are condemned for not going against their faith in the face of death in the opinion of the world with regards to blood transfusions. There have been clarifications in recent years, both within Jehovah's Witnesses themselves and within the courts. For example, witnesses may have a diversity of views themselves as individuals, but there are also elements that may be accepted across the board. For example, dialysis, where the blood of a person is removed, cleaned and then circulated back into the patient, or the use of elements or what are known as fractions of platelets and white blood cells. Within the UK, a child may be given a blood transfusion if a court deems it to be in the interests of the child whose life is paramount, even if it goes against parents' wishes. This was dramatised in the novel and film The Children's Act.